This is Story Recapped. Today I'm going to show a drama, mystery, romance, science fiction, and thriller film called The Titan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In 2048, the Earth experiences a devastating overpopulation causing violence-driven citizens. Rick Jansen, a war pilot, volunteers as a participant in an experiment for a venture to Saturn's largest moon, Titan. To prepare for the experiment, Dr. Freya Upton shows Rick to his new home along with his wife, Dr. Abigail Jansen, and their son, Lucas. The family is amazed by the home's features and is more than happy to live in such a luxurious space. The renowned professor Martin Collingwood spearheads the experiment. He visits the family the following morning to update Rick on the project's progress. Moreover, he adds that the experiments have underlying risks, but Rick is eager to participate. As Collingwood leaves, he informs Abigail that her husband might be sick over the following days, who seems to be open to anything. In front of several volunteers, Collingwood introduces the nature of their mission and experiment. Titan is the only place in the solar system with an atmosphere where a primordial ecosystem can be born. He discusses how Titan is filled with liquid methane and nitrogen, disabling them from swimming or breathing. The place is too cold to exist in and fiercely hostile to life, but beyond that, some possibilities involve human genetics. Among the participants are Iker, Tally, Vita, Timothy, Zane, Anton, and Rick, selected because of their survival ability records. After the lecture, the participants proceed to the official laboratory to initiate the experiment. All of them are injected with fluid chemicals to enhance their physical health. Meanwhile, Rick's family lives their best life in an inclusive village where Lucas also attends school. Some of their days consist of parties and get-togethers in a wealthy neighborhood. Later that night, Rick struggles to get into bed and trips on their staircase. Abigail assists him and is aware that these are side effects of the experiment. She tends to her husband, given her expertise in medicine. The following day, the experiment resumes and the participants test how long they can stay underwater. Rick and Tally are starting to have a competitive rivalry between them and are the last ones underwater. Colonel Peterson observes the pool and is amazed by how promising the results are. Not long after that, Tally can no longer hold her breath and swims back up. Rick swims across the pool several times with exemplary speed and lasts 42 minutes in the water, to everyone's surprise. Despite his busy schedule and growing responsibilities, Rick remains a good father and husband. He makes sure to spend time with his family and fulfill his role as a father. However, Abigail feels tension in their marriage and subtly expresses her discomfort. The following day, she spends time with Ryan, Zane's wife. Both of them share their struggles of uncertainties in the experiment their husbands are participating in. As Rick's training becomes more intense, it takes a toll on his physical health and a shift in his physique. One night, Abigail wakes up to the temperature of their home. The air conditioner is set to the coldest temperature, but Rick claims that he feels hot. He submerges his hands on an ice bucket, but it does not help him at all. Back in the laboratory, the participants are trained to swim in a pool of liquid methane. The attending doctors and researchers wear protective gear, which signifies the dangers of the chemicals to the human body. Their training consists of physical activities that prepare them for tight situations of survival. It becomes intense as they adapt more to Titan-like environments. Due to the intensity of the training, Rick notices some of his hair falling off. As he examines it, Vita starts convulsing, which causes a commotion at the site. Freya attempts to revive her, but to no avail, and the rest of the participants sadly witness Vita's death. That night, the participants hold a meeting to talk about what happened that day. They share their growing concerns, and Zane is evidently more worried than the rest. While preparing food, Abigail becomes concerned after noticing darker blood veins among the participants. In the middle of their dinner, Zane lashes at his wife out of nowhere and becomes more aggressive. He starts to break down, but others come to Ryan's rescue just in time. Freya visits Rick the following day to provide him with medications. As a doctor, Abigail questions the substances given to her husband and even objects to Freya's methods. However, she can't interfere because of legal reasons involved in their situation. That night, Rick becomes sickly and throws up in their bathroom. Out of concern, Abigail takes a sample of Rick's blood and vomit so she can study it herself. Shortly after, she notices several cameras around the house, which means they've been monitored ever since they moved in. While taking a break underwater, Rick notices large amounts of his skin shredding without knowing why. Abigail notices it as well, which questions the validity and safety of the experiment. She begins to examine the samples from Rick and confirms that his blood is indeed darker. All the while, Rick undergoes eye surgery in the corneal region to adapt to low light in Titan. However, it causes his temporary blindness, which sparks a rage in Abigail. She rushes Rick to the lab and confronts Collingwood about the experiment, but he assures her that everything is under control. Abigail comes home hopeless and starts to pack her family's things to bring to the lab. A noise outside interrupts her where she sees several vehicles approaching the village. Soldiers restrict her from going to Ryan and Zane's home, where the two are completely in a fight. Zane experiences another breakdown and throws Ryan out the window, causing her demise. The soldiers barge into the house and kill Zane, whose strength and features appear superhuman. While visiting her husband in the facility, Abigail steals his card to sneak into Collingwood's office. She successfully makes her way unseen past the guards while Collingwood meets Experiment's board members. Outside the office, Abigail finds autopsy records of deceased participants, which takes her aback. She discovered that the study infuses animal DNA to the test subjects to create superhuman species called Homo titanians. During the meeting with NASA's employee, Dr. Elliot Blake, he chastises Collingwood for forcing evolutionary experimentation without evidence or ethical reasons. The board threatens him with having his operation shut down because of ethical reasons. The following day, Collingwood pays Rick a visit to inform him about his health progress. He informs him that Rick needs brain surgery to process his ability to enhance his senses. Abigail is heavily against the idea and becomes hysterical and more protective over her husband. She loses her cool and confronts Collingwood about the issue, and he admits that the board does not know what the surviving participants will become. He adds that nature is unpredictable, but reiterates Rick's need for surgery before Abigail walks out. Later that day, Rick regains his vision and shaves his head in preparation for his much-needed brain surgery. He willingly admits himself to the lab where the doctors operate on him and other participants alike. Some of them encounter complications in their system, leaving Rick and Tally the only survivors. The board informs Abigail about the operation's success, but the results are far beyond her expectations. She and Lucas visit Rick the next day and are horrified to see him transform into another species. His color is white and his figure is alien-like. He also lost his ability to talk and only communicates in a low frequency which is undetectable to human ears. On the other hand, Tally's husband, Andrew, is also taken aback by what his wife has become. As they get home, Rick is silent and is completely different. At one point, he hurts Abigail after she offers him help in fixing his clothes. She's speechless, to say the least, as the man she knew for most of her life is gone. She succumbs to observing him in his new state of being, accepting the fact that the procedure is irreversible. After putting her son to sleep, Abigail notices Tally, who approaches Rick by the pool. Tally's hands are covered in blood, and she informs Rick that she killed Andrew in cold blood. As surveillance cameras surround their homes, soldiers are quick to respond to the situation. They hold Rick and Tally at gunpoint, but both of them are seemingly unbothered by it. Tally approaches the soldiers, causing them to shoot her and fall to the ground. As the men get closer to her body, Tally regains her strength and kills a member of the military. The rest finish her off while Rick looks at her corpse nonchalantly. Out of nowhere, Rick resorts to violence to avenge Tally's death and easily kills more military members, but he stops when Abigail reprimands him, so he flees. The news reaches the base, and before soldiers could leave, Collingwood and Peterson reiterate Rick's importance in their mission. With Rick nowhere to be seen, Abigail leaves the house to find him and spare his life from the soldiers. Abigail finds him on a nearby hill where they often spend their morning runs. After several calls, Rick emerges from the trees and comes face to face with Abigail. He slowly approaches her, which renders Abigail scared and frightened. Despite her fear, she offers to hold Rick's hand and look at each other as if they're communicating. They find comfort in each other and share a romantic kiss just as the soldiers arrive and arrest them both. Abigail wakes up to Collingwood by her bedside, who says Rick should be sent to Titan as soon as possible. The longer he stays on Earth, the thinner his chance is for survival. He accompanies Abigail to the base where Rick is held in captivity while his incompatibility to Earth is decreasing. Collingwood forces Abigail to inject a solution into him, which is a chemical form of lobotomy. His wife is the only one Rick trusts, as he acts violently towards other people. If Abigail injects the chemical into him, all his memories will be erased, including her. Without a choice, Abigail agrees to abide by Collingwood's request as Rick's health is deteriorating. She approaches and enters his glass cage upon holding the injection. Rick looks at her with acceptance in his eyes, but Abigail comforts him. Not long after, Abigail injects the chemical and kisses him on the head before leaving the cage. She immediately leaves and lets Freya tag along with her, which makes the latter question her intentions. Little did everyone know, Abigail injected a harmless saline solution instead of the one truly intended for Rick. It's too late, as Rick kills Patterson, which allows him to escape and claim his freedom. Meanwhile, Abigail and Freya pick Lucas up at one of the rooms in the base to flee from the commotion. Shortly after, Lucas sees his father all bloodied, so they all run to him to tend to his wounds. The military on board of the experiment corner them and hold them at gunpoint. Collingwood descends the stairs to threaten them, but Abigail stands her ground. He orders the soldiers to shoot them, but his order is disobeyed. The military holds him at gunpoint instead and arrests him for ignoring the ethical grounds of the research. NASA helps them rescue Rick and they all board to safety. Dr. Blake offers his help to Rick's family and claims that he gives hope to the world. Although he's in safe hands, Rick's life is still at risk because of his new bodily functions and systems. After some time, Freya and Abigail become researchers at the new facility center with more ethical methods than the last one. She takes care of Lucas and only hopes the best for Rick, who is now on Titan. As the first enhanced human there, Rick explores the planet to make way for the research to progress. Rick's body is fully adapted to the planet and considers it his new home.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.